If I hear any of you say, we're just kids, what can we do? I said, you can do anything you want if you put your minds to it. That was in 2000. 2001, we started our first trip down there, and in that period of time, some of our highlights have been, other than the 5 solar-powered water purification systems, we have built 80 houses for people there, 2 health clinics, started a chicken farm, 3 sewing machine schools, 3 bakeries, doubled the size of the AIDS ward in the Rosales Hospital. We outfitted an orphanage with all new roofing, bunk beds, mattresses, a freezer, all new dishes, silverware, new electrical system, only to find after we left that the 20-something or other year-olders wanted to come in and invite the girls to come out so they could rape them, or to invite the boys out, and what they do is they knock them to the ground and stand on their shoulders while someone goes like this, dips their finger into cocaine and rams it into the mouth of the kid to get them addicted. Our kids went ballistic and said, oh baby, that's not going to happen. So we went back the next year and put up a 7-foot-high wall with razor wire on the top and said basically, okay, suckers, try and get in now. We'll see how well you do. The kids have done this on their own. They raise the money on their own. This is their doing, not mine. An interactor advisor is just that, an advisor. Someone who can lead them or let them lead themselves, and when they get off course, which they will do frequently, just sort of nudge them back on track to see where they're going to go. A year and a half ago, we started REACT. That's when we have linked up with Monadnock Developmental Services and all of the kids in the high school who have any sort of physical or mental disability. And then twice a month, we get together with them to have a social time to find out just exactly, we're really not much different. And so this is what we have done. Last night we had an officers meeting, and the kids, I just gave me goose pimples because they were talking about a church group that was going to go on a mission trip to Washington where they were going to work in a soup kitchen feeding people. And I went, oh boy. And they said, yeah, we know where you're coming from. Because my attitude is, all right, that's a nice thing to do, but once you fed them, what's going to happen? They're going to be back 4 or 5 hours later because they need to be fed again. Do something more substantial. So last night they decided that during the summer, we are going to try and work with the social service agencies to pull a reversal help job where we are going to find, or someone will find for us, a large homeless family, mom, dad, and children. And we will then work with them, and it is our intent, whether we can do it or not I'm not sure, but the family, the adults, will have to be accountable to the students. We will do what we can to get mom and dad a job. We will find them a place to live. We will pay the security deposit, first month's rent, last month's rent, and make a long-term commitment to tutor all of their kids through the rest of their years until they graduate from high school. That, for me, was a whoa. But I said to them, I said, I'm so proud of you because you're looking at the core, and yes, it's only one family, but that one family can change the whole cycle for their kids as well as themselves. After 22 years of doing this, we now have parents who'll come up and say, my kid had a blast in Interact. Can I get into Rotary? Or the kids now are old enough, oh, I don't know why they get older, I don't, where they want to come back home and become Rotarians also. The challenge to you is to tear down the norm walls embrace the nomination process, because going back to my story of when I said if you were a cheerleader or an athlete, you were in, all of a sudden you will find the athlete, the drama club, yearbook staff, the computer gurus, and those kids who are going, oh my God, leave me alone. I'll just be quiet and I'll hide over here in the corner and I'll get out of school and I won't bother you. And it throws them all together. And after about a month and a half, they realize, you're not really the jerk that I thought you were. And they become real good friends, to the point where everyone else in school is saying, what are you talking to that jerk for? What do you mean jerk? We're an interact. Ah, interact. It says it all. Just that one comment. And then they move on. The same thing can happen here. I know it can. I'm from this broad general area. I was born and brought up in Andover. My first move was all the way to North Andover. And whenever we went shopping, we always went to Shoppers World.
Yeah.
But at that time, you had to be there in a white shirt and a tie, and Mom had dress, high heels, gloves, hat, you know, the whole thing. I'm sure things are a little bit more relaxed now. Everybody feels things need to change. Unless we grasp this concept, Rotary will not exist in another 50 years. If we don't start showing the younger generation what Rotary is all about and what we can do, we are doomed. On this next trip to El Salvador, when everyone is in place, there will be 83 of us there. I will also have 2 of my interactors from Fairborn, Ohio, who I went out there at their club's request and started 2 interacts in one day from scratch, which was quite a feat. And we have 2 of our students who will be coming in from Sweden. We started an interact club over there, and we are presently starting one up in Larvik, Norway, with a former Interact exchange student. We have our other interactors who will be coming in from Washington, Dallas, Houston, and from the club that we started up in Cornwall, Ontario. And we put them all together, they form real tight bonds, and they get a whole lot done. This year we are focusing on building 7 houses for families who lost their homes in the 2001 earthquake, and then they moved down near the river because that's where the water was. I went down the last of October with 2 of the other adult chaperones who are going to see how things were coming, to negotiate prices on materials and whatnot, only to find out that 2 weeks before we arrived, they had 5 feet of water in 4 days of rain. And the river went like this, and everything they owned went God only knows where. So these people are living in what an 11-year-old could probably build as a fort. And it is so tight on the inside. If you go like this on the roof, your hand is full of charcoal and tar. This is what the kids are breathing in. So the project that we're doing is really necessary for the recipients, who also have to help build their own homes. And it's necessary for us because our students see the kids and play with the kids and realize you have nothing and you are so happy. I have so much and I am nowhere near as happy as you. Why? They learn. They also learn to know what it is like to be of service above self. They grasp that to the nth degree, and they will drag you to success. I want to thank you very much for inviting me here. I would be more than happy to sit down with the principals of the high schools to try and get this going, or with any of you. And afterwards, if any of you need my email address, I'd be happy to give it to you, where we could maybe work forward. Not for the betterment of me, I'm not even in your district, but for the betterment of this club and for the betterment of the students who live in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doug. Are there any questions of Doug?
I just had one question. How many of your nominees are actually accept the membership?
We, out of the 30 on a yearly basis, there's probably 2 that won't join. And so we just go 2 more down on the list. If someone, we asked people to leave. In fact, last night they threw out 4 members, and one was one of the presidents. Because her participation and attendance wasn't up to snuff. So it's like, hey, if something else has come up in your life, not a problem. If you just don't feel like doing the work, out you go. We have other people who want to be in here.
Other questions? Well, Doug, we really appreciate your joining us today, and as a very small token,
Thank you.
get the Framingham Rotary Cup. So, yeah, I think you've really inspired us with the possibilities for Interact. We just started an Interact club this past spring, wasn't it? So, yeah, it gives us some ideas of what they're really capable of. So, I was remiss earlier and did not announce some of the special guests we have here today. So, we have here Peter Barnes. He's with the Charles River Club. Yeah, a round of applause for Peter. We have Darlene Trainer with the Wachusett Club. Yep. Ron France from the Groton Pepperell Club. Have I missed anyone? Well, and Stu's here today. Well,
Yeah.
always glad to see Stu. He's one of our members, but yeah, he's a special member. And, it's great seeing you here.
Used to be the youngest. I think I'm the oldest now.
You are the oldest, Stu. It's okay.
Well,
Thanks,
just
Dick, thanks you very much.
a final reminder that right after this meeting, if the board members would come together, we have one matter to dispose of, so we'll have a very brief meeting. And there's also a membership meeting that is coming up February the 6th.